Hello everyone! Today we are heading into the Indian subcontinent. You have suggested an India playthrough in a lot of different ways, so thank you for that. Now let's do it with a legacy claim, the heirs of Alexander and the Indo-Greeks. A bit of historical background. After Alexander's conquests, Greek successor states formed in Central Asia. Greco-Bactria emerged around 256 BC, and later the Indo-Greek Kingdoms took root in northwestern India around 200 BC, surviving as political powers until roughly 10 AD. But now imagine a different timeline. One where a small Indo-Greek community endured. That's where a mod called The Last Hellenes comes into play, where a man named Nikolaos has carved out an independent Indo-Greek foothold between Bactria and India, and we begin as his son and successor Pericles. If you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing and sharing. Now, let's start right in. Here we are with our main character, Count Pericles of Bamyan. He is lustful, ambitious, brave, a 4-star strategist, a 3-star fighter. He is a genius and athletic. We are already married to our first cousin of the Lysandrite house. We ourselves are part of the Nicolaoan dynasty. That, of course, is named after our father, Count Nikolaos the Defiant. We do have many siblings. Only one of them is legitimate though, which is Nikolaos down here, our younger brother, and everyone else is a bastard. We are part of the Indo-Greek culture, which has no cultural head for now, because no county actually is of that culture. We'll work on that though. Our culture has Hellenic heritage and Hellenic language. For our dynasty, I made a few changes compared to how we would normally start off. We are part of the Nicolaoan dynasty, and we have 3 houses in here, which are the Zenonid, Lysandrite and our own house. Having a look at the family tree, we would normally start off down here as Count Nikolaos as founder of our dynasty, while only our siblings would be part of the same one. Our uncles, Zenon and Lysandros, would have their own dynasties for them and their children, because our grandfather is lowborn in the mod setting. I personally don't like having families split up into different dynasties. I think catted branches are a way better way to portray that, so I changed that. I hope the mod creator understands it. The Last Hellenes. Once the Hellenic world stretched from the Danube to the Indus, from the Nile to the Caucasus, encompassing all that was considered civilized. Much of this was the legacy of a single man, Alexander the Great, father of the Hellenes. Yet over time, the Hellenes forgot their ways, grew weak and slowly collapsed across the known world. The last to fall were the once mighty Indo-Greeks. Over the centuries, the Hellenic people dwindled from millions to thousands, and then to mere hundreds. Even those who still speak our language and dwell in our ancestral lands have forgotten who they are, calling themselves Romans instead. It was my father who united the last of our people beneath his banner, seizing these lands despite our minority. He alone remembered Alexander's dream, devoting his life to keeping it alive and casting off the Muslim yoke under which we have lived for a century. But his life was cut short by the Samanids, and with his death many believed that the hope of Hellenic restoration died as well. Yet now, while the Samanids feast in complacency, I gather my forces. I will fulfill Alexander's dreams, his and my father's. I will get my revenge. With our startup event done, let's have a look at our decisions. We of course could establish the Bactrian supremacy, which is a vanilla decision, but fits very well into the setting. We can restore the Indo-Greek Kingdom, where we need basically to control Sindh and Punjab, and we can deify the Great, which would then convert us to the cult of Alexander. I'm not sure if we are gonna do that today, but what we are definitely gonna do is restore the Indo-Greek kingdoms. We will start converting our culture in Bamyan so we can become a cultural head, and we will start fabricating claims down here in Nandana. I would like to conquer a few bits down here as fast as possible before they can get annexed by some of the other neighboring realms. Okay, we've secured our first claim on Nandana down here. We have gained a new nickname. We are known as Pericles the Soldier. And with our 2 sieges done, we have 100% and claim our first lands down here. Right, so we have conquered Bara down here and Trigata over here as well. Down here in Banusama, there's an opportunity. They are attacking the Habaris for their de jure claim on that county. So we will let them fight, and if they win, we will instantly go in to claim their whole duchy. I would like to establish our realm capital in Multan for now. So the first years are gonna be pretty war heavy. We have our first son, Nikolaos. He isn't very good, to be honest, so I hope we get a better son. Okay, let's already go into Banusama and claim the Duchy of Multan for ourselves. Just one siege and one small battle over here. Later we have reached 100% and claim the Duchy of Multan, where we will establish our future realm capital. We are now going to create the duchy and proclaim ourselves the Dukes of Multan. As you can see, we are already at 12 out of 4 domain holdings. That slowly really gets to our income and our levy size. So we will start giving away some lands. I've noticed that the Habari Sultanate is actually getting attacked in the south for some of the lands, so we have to be quick and declare holy war on the kingdom to save all of that kingdom before some of these provinces can slip into another realm. So let's go straight in and claim the Kingdom of Sindh. We were able to push down to the provinces that were besieged by the other invaders, so they are at minus 100% war score now, and the Habaris can make peace with them. So all of the Habari Sultanate can actually fall to us. We also have a second son, which I have named Alexandros Pericles, after Alexander and after ourselves. And looking at his genetics, I think this is our preferred heir. We've easily reached 100% and claimed the kingdom. However, as we are of a pluralist faith, all those people will only become our vassals and we will not gain the lands directly. So we will probably have to try and trigger some revolts down here to get rid of them. Now look at that. That looks already pretty decent. There are some new opportunities for us. As we can see, we have the Gujarat, for example, up here, and many other lords that have gained independence recently from the Pratihara kingdom. So the Pratiharas aren't very stable, and we have some new expansion opportunities. Also, of course, up here in Kabulistan, still the Shahi Shadam is a target for us. Thanks to a major rebellion, we were able to strip most of our hostile vessels from the land. So we now have the Lysandrites and the Zenonites landed down here in the south. And in the north, we have simply landed some local Indo-Greeks. The Shahi Shadam is currently fighting with the Saffarids over here, so we can go on and backstab the Shahis. Let's go in and claim the Duchy of Gandhara for ourselves. And with that, we are one step closer to uniting our capital with our new realm. I thought maybe an isolated capital isn't the best, so we moved our capital to Multan. And we can now go in and conquer the county of Kalat, which actually should be the last part we are missing to claim the kingdom of the Indo-Greeks restored. What we are now going to do is to slowly create the needed kingdom titles, which are the kingdom title of Punjab and Sindh. We've gathered over 1k gold, so we can claim the kingdom of Punjab already. And for Sindh, I think we should have enough gold as well. Oh, we need to spend some here. Alright, then not, but soon we will. And we are not in RP formally crowning ourselves king yet. We are only calling ourselves the overlords of the Punjab and the Sindh. I think we are also going to pick up those two provinces at our border. They aren't part of India, but I mean, why not take a first step into Persia? Also, as you can see, the Pratiharas have splintered even more now. We have 2 independent kingdoms of them. And I think 1 or 2 more vessels have gained independence. Oh no, they are fighting still for that. So they are looking like an easy victim for us. The ruler of Kutch has proposed to our glorious ruler to become his vassal. And we of course are open for such submission. We will accept every Indian ruler that bends the knee to us. We have created the kingdom of Sindh, and with that we fulfill all requirements to crown ourselves as the king of the Indo-Greeks. Yavana was once a prosperous kingdom stretching from the borders of Bactria to the banks of the Ganges. Our forefathers built a thriving civilization here, blending the best of Hellenic and Indian culture. However, over time our kingdom fell into decline and eventually was absorbed by rising powers around us. Now, with our nation stronger than ever before, it is time to reclaim our heritage and restore the Indo-Greek kingdoms to its former glory. And clearly, Pericles is the right man to do that. We will gain the kingdom of Yavana. We will gain restored Indo-Greek kingdom's dominion for 15 years with insane boosts for our development growth. We will adopt the primogeniture law, which of course for the year 883 is insanely OP. And the kingdom of Yavana will become the de jure overlord for our 5 duchies. We finally have a land to call our own. Here we go, the restoration of the Indo-Greek Kingdom. After many hundred years of absence, Indo-Greek banners once again fly all over the Indus River. Without a doubt, this is the start of a prosperous kingdom. Glory to Yavana. So Yavana was a term that the Indians used for the Greeks. I've seen it for the Indo-Greek Kingdom, but also for the Greeks themselves, so as a cultural term. And here we go, King Pericles, the soldier of the Yavana, is the title we will claim, King of the Indo-Greeks. Our next plans involve a lot of those Indian splinter states. I mean, they are weak and we are a conqueror after all. As the heir of Alexander in India, it is our right to conquer all those provinces. We've reached the paragon of virtue piety level, which allows us to deify the great. A bit of background before we actually do that. We will revert to the old Hellenic faith, and on top of that we will proclaim that Alexander was actually the messenger of Zeus on earth. So he was kinda a prophet and will now be worshipped like one. Over the centuries, our people have adopted many different religions, ranging from Buddhism to Islam. To truly achieve a resurgence of Hellenistic glory, we have to unify our people behind a common faith. All of us admire Alexander the Great, and even though the faith has faded away from our people, the stories of the old gods and heroes are still known to most of us, passed down from generation to generation. By deifying Alexander, we can not only begin to organize the old Hellenic religion, but also find a common figure for our people to stand behind. And that, of course, can be no one else than Pericles the soldier. We will gain the effect heir to Alexander, which if we look at it is pretty damn good. It gives us +5 maximum battle roll and +10% army movement speed, as well as 20 opinion with our culture. We will convert to the cult of Alexander, we've talked about that, and of course vassals and family have a chance to convert with us. Let the Hellenic resurgence begin. A new age for our people. The cult has officially been established. Though it will take some time for our people to accept this new religion, it was an important step towards uniting our people. Glory to Alexander. This is our new religion, adaptive historicism and astrology as its tenets, and it is pluralist. Not the best religion in my opinion, but it has a lot of style. We may even choose a new religion in the future, we'll see about that, but for now that perfectly fits our story as Pericles. And as we can see, some of our provinces have already converted to our new cult. It took me a moment of time, but I've renamed our provinces that we have conquered so far and Hellenized it, and I've also given some of them some special names. As we can see, for example, we have Alexandria, Periclea and Nicolaia down here. Of course, Alexandria named after Alexander the Great, Periclea after our current ruler, and Nicolaia after our father, but we have also renamed all of the other provinces, as I said. Now, I don't know if you actually knew this, but we had some cities historically on the Indus River that were named Alexandria, and we also had other cities founded by Alexander in those northwestern parts of India, and even cities that are not founded by Alexander have historically proven names for the Greeks. Just to keep you updated, we somehow switched back to a Confederate partition. I guess something with the conversion from the mod to primogenitor does not really work with the game mechanics. Our son and heir Nikolaos has fallen on the battlefield. Well, if I do not sound too hysterical, that of course is because now the throne passes to our favorite son, Alexander Pericles. There is some resistance against our conquests, as the Pratyahara kingdom has actually declared war on us, but nobody here can really challenge Pericles and his companions. Something very cool just happened. The Gurids have chosen to bend the knee and become our vassals without force at all, and I wasn't even sure if we were gonna take that offer, because that drags us way more into Persia than I really thought we would go early on. But then I realized there was this daughter of the satrap who is a genius and was free for marriage, so we took them as a vassal and sealed that pact with the marriage of our player heir and his daughter. Pericles, by the way, had lots of other children in the meantime, so the line is definitely secured. We just won 2 more defensive wars, and there's something interesting happening with Pericles and around him. He's slowly building a little cult kinda himself. Now, when we converted to Hellenism, he chose Helios as his patron god, as we carry the sun as a sigil. And actually there is this Sarid faith present in our capital of Alexandria, who worships Surya, the sun god, as a Hinduistic deity. Now what is happening is that the people in Alexandria are slowly seeing Pericles as some sort of a sun hero, or even maybe a son of Surya or Helios. And Pericles does not believe in that, but he takes advantage of these beliefs and builds some kind of cult and a base of support for himself with that. The Chavdaraj, who turned out to be our brother-in-law because he once was married to one of our sisters, is willing to get vassalized by us. We have to grant him religious exemption for that, but that is a nice chunk of land, and I think it makes RP sense that our former brother-in-law will submit to our rule. Oh, and by the way, in the northwest, the Gurids have expanded our realm. We gained a warhorse, but how will it be named? You all know there's only one correct answer: Bucephalus, just as Alexander the Great's horse. We have culture converted some of our provinces to the Indo-Greek culture. We focused on our capitals and on coastal holdings, and we will now go on and replace the astute diplomats with the seafarers tradition, as the astute diplomats is of no further use for us, and the seafarers tradition simply is one of my most favorite traditions in the game. Shouldn't take too long as our culture isn't very big. Yeah, 8 years and it will be done. The Pratiharas have split once again, and we have a very weakened kingdom of Rashputana right here. So let's start our conquests once again with them, and after that there are other pieces that we can pick up. As you can see, we have acquired quite some new land. We had some fairly easy wars up here against the Kol Pratihara and some minor independent lords. And here we have placed our younger brother, Duke Nikolaos, who now holds a duchy. But now it will be time to strike against the main Pratiharas, who are allied with the Pala kingdom actually, which makes them a much stronger enemy than their cousins. But still, we will definitely overwhelm them. We have over 11k troops with our 2 allies, so they will not really be a challenge for us. We will claim this duchy down here on the Ganges River. It is at the heart of the Pratihara kingdom, and we will basically split the kingdom in half with that. That war was pretty easy, no major battles really, but we have gained our first lands on the Ganges. Our realm has really grown a lot, not only in India, but also in Persia. But now Pericles' health isn't too good. So I think the goal that we should be looking for within his lifetime is to create the Empire of Rajasthan, which we are missing quite some provinces for. We'll soon switch to learning a lifestyle to boost his health and see how long we can actually keep him alive. The Persia conquests are nothing that we are actually doing, but that is something of our brother and the Gurids. I created a new house COA for our house. As you can see, we no longer bear the standard COA that was given to us by the mod. We only kept that for our dynasty. And for our house COA, we still kept this sun-themed. But we now have the Argad sun in the center with a purple background and a larger golden sun around it. King Pericles has crossed the river of Styx at 61 years of age. He did not make it all the way to the Empire of Rajasthan, sadly, and now the throne passes to his son, Alexandros Pericles. Alexandros Pericles inherited a two-front war from his father. We are fighting an independence war of our native vassals, which was declared shortly after we declared a war on the kingdom of Malva. So we will have to figure that out, and with that, secure the rule of Alexandros Pericles. Okay, so we had some more rebellions and internal issues that took us some time. Let's have a look. Took us exactly 9 years to fix all our internal issues, and part of that was that we had to offer white peace to Malva, actually. We just gained a very cool nickname here. They call you King Alexandra Pericles, the Tiger of Alexandria. Spectacular, is it not? And I really think that's a very spectacular nickname. I've never seen that before, I think, and I really like it. There are some new cadet branches in our dynasty, and as you can see, I've named them all and given them some COAs. And my idea is that only people that descend from the male line of the kings have the right to carry the Nicolaonid or Argad sons. This house, for example, is not allowed to do so, and instead they will carry a different son. We will later on probably make them the kings of Rajputana. For now, they hold two duchies here. Now, if you are ever interested to see a character or a cadet branch to be named after you and your username, check out our new channel memberships where you can become part of my videos. After many years, we have finally stabilized our realm enough to start expanding once again. We will strike in the south and the east, first against the Pratyahara Double Kingdom and then against Malva. Just like his father, Alexandros Pericles leads his troops personally to the battlefield and to victory. With these conquests concluded and 1k gold in our treasury, we can now finally create the Empire of Rajasthan and fulfill Pericles' dream. Today is the day we crown ourselves Emperor. And after just a bit of a title rework, here we are, Emperor Alexandros Pericles, the Tiger of Alexandria, Emperor of Yavana. As you can see, I have simply copied the Kingdom of Yavana COA and put it into our Empire tier. I think that works perfectly well as a COA for our realm for now. By the way, down here we have two more native rulers that bend the knee to us. Now that we are an emperor, I expect more natives to join in. The time has come to push further down the Ganges. We will target the Bishnipur Pala with our once-in-a-lifetime Holy War CB. Sadly, though, of course, we are still a pluralist faith, so we will probably vassalize many of those rulers who will later on rise up against us. But still, we are of course gonna take that chance as they are weak and only have one small ally. They shouldn't stand a chance while we are crushing their main force here. Yes, that looks good. And just a few sieges later, we can force them to a peace deal. That was a nice chunk of land. While scrolling a bit out, I just realized something interesting in the west over here. What in the world is this Carpathia? Holy moly, they are great conquerors since Arpad Harfand, who invaded Hungary, and apparently they made good use of that. Interesting that they didn't even convert to Christianity. For us, however, the time has come to reform our religious beliefs. We will make use of the sun cult of Pericles that has formed in our capital and has effectively merged with the Sauride faith in Alexandria, and we will now hybridize with these faiths. As there's no game function for hybridizing religions, we will hybridize in RP. For that, we will first convert to Saurism and create a new faith after that. We will, however, not fully abandon the beliefs of our father Pericles, but instead truly merge them. So we will, in fact, become a Hindu faith, but with a Greek Hindu pantheon centering on Helios or Surya, the sun god, as our primary patron. Alexander still is accepted and seen as the prophet and messenger of Zeus, but Helios now is our primary deity. So we will now go on and convert to the Sauride faith. Some of our vessels will not convert with us, but they still get a chance when we convert a second time. We will now instantly go on and create our new faith, but first a bit more of a backstory to that. Our main doctrines teach that Zeus turned away from the world when the Hellenistic faiths ultimately got crushed and vanished from the world, and humans stopped believing in him. He then left the world to Helios, the sun, as the new warden of the world. Helios decided to choose a new champion on Earth and granted his blessing to Nikolaos the Defiant, founder of the Nicolaonid dynasty. He and his descendants shall lead humanity out of darkness and into the light. But while we keep many of our Hellenistic gods in our new pantheon, we also adopt some Hindu beliefs. For example, the belief in samsara and moksha, the belief in the endless cycle of continuous rebirth into the world, and moksha, the freeing from that cycle. Of course, it is Helios or Surya who will free us from the cycle and, in our belief, guide us into a lightful heaven. Let's go on and look into our new faith. Our new faith will be called Path of Helios and will have the sun sigil as its icon. Our adjective and short form is Heliasm, while our followers are called the Helians. And of course, I did add a little description to our faith. When Zeus turned away from the mortal world, Helios claimed it in radiance and law. Nikolaos, born of the sun, founded a chosen dynasty meant to restore order and lead souls beyond samsara into moksha, the realm of light. For doctrines, we are gonna stay with esotericism and sun worship, of course, and we will adopt warmonger. I was thinking about maybe going with reincarnation due to the whole samsara moksha thing, but I think warmonger fits as well, as we are, after all, still conquerors. Also, we will of course lose our holy war CB against Hindu and Buddhist rulers, because we are of a dharmic religious group now. So there is a bit of a game mechanic behind that I want to use, and that is the invasion CB and our conquest CBs that we will gain with that. For doctrines, we will go with a fundamentalist attitude, temporal head of faith, and lay clergy. For marriage doctrines, we will keep our Greek traditions with concubines, bastard legitimization, and evangelate marriage. We will accept same-sex relations, while we will shun adultery and deviancy, and witchcraft will be virtuous, as this will bring us closer to the gods. We will go with the recruitment clerical function, as it is an honor to fight for Helios, and either gender can become a cleric. We will have the cremation tradition, and our clerics can be revoked. 43 vessels will convert. Let's create the faith. For now, our ruler title has changed to Swami, but I will change that in a second. But here we go. Heliasm is on the map. Much better. I changed our ruler title back to Emperor of Yavana. I did this with a little mod I am using. My regular viewers already know that. The mod is called RIT, Simple Manager, Custom Address and Nickname and House. That allows you to basically rename all your titles and ruler titles. You'll find a link in the description. As you are still watching the video, why don't you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the next videos in the future. Next up is a hybrid culture that we will form with the Rajasthani culture. We have built up our cultural acceptance to 52% over the last years, so we can now form the hybrid. Let's have a look into our new culture. It will be named Yavana. Now, I'm a bit sad to give up the Indo-Greek culture name. I really like that one, but I also really want that hybrid culture. So here we go. The Yavana culture will be born. We will of course not abandon our Hellenic heritage or language, but we will pick up the bellicose ethos. I think the bellicose ethos actually makes sense. We are not on the defense anymore. we are on the offense. Tradition-wise, we will abandon the formation fighting experts and the religion blending. We made good use of that and no longer need it. Instead, we will pick up the Khatka Puja and the philosopher culture. The Khatka Puja will grant us access to a special heavy infantry man-at-arms, so we will be able to build a strong army with heavy infantry and elephants. On the aesthetics, we will mostly keep our old Hellenic Indo-Greek styles. Only for the coat of arms, we will add the Indo-Aryan ones in. All 44 available vessels will convert with us, and the Yavana hybridization is born. Over the next decades, we will work on converting our provinces into our new faith and our new culture, and we will also give our vessels vessel directives to do the same. Oh, and I nearly forgot to establish a new tradition, so let's do that right now. We will establish the staunch traditionalists tradition that will make our vessels more hesitant to convert to a local culture or form a hybrid culture on their own. We have once again renamed all our provinces and Hellenized them, and we have also given some of those lands some special names again. For example, here on the Ganges we have Alexandria Megale, which means the Great Alexandria, and we have the twin cities of Periclea and Nikolaia Gangetike, which means Periclea and Nikolaia on the Ganges. So Alexandros Pericles is building a new center of power down here on the Ganges and is actually going to shift his capital city to Alexandria Megale. It is kind of an eastward shift for future campaigns and to signalize all the Indian rulers that they are next. A bit like the shift from Moscow to St. Petersburg within the Russian Tsardom when they shifted their attention westwards. From this new capital, we will march our troops into the Pala Kingdom, and we will use our new invade kingdom CB for that. Well, that was a very easy war, and we will next just go on and pick up some of those bits that are in the center of our realm, the Pratyahara kingdoms or some of the other splinter states. We just received a message that we will be dead within a year. Alexandros Pericles, the Tiger of Alexandria, is going to die, but look what he has achieved. We have cleaned up many of our borders and our realm is looking fairly good. Religion-wise, the path of Helios is getting more and more accepted in our realm, and people from our capital to the coast are slowly adopting the Yavana lifestyle. And here we go, as expected, Alexandros Pericles has transcended his material form at 78 years of age, and Emperor Archelaus ascends to the throne. With his ascension to the throne, Archelaus adopts the name Alexandros Archelaus and is crowned as Emperor Alexandros II of Yavana. From this day on forward, every crowned ruler will adopt the name Alexandros as a regnal name, so a name that he wears once he becomes the ruler of our empire. Many of our rulers in the future will proceed and name the firstborn sons Pericles, so we will see many rulers of our dynasty that will be named Alexandros Pericles once they ascend to the throne. We've given away some kingdom titles, however for us those are not kings but satraps, and the titles are known as satrapies. I have done that once again with the already mentioned mod, with which you can customize your and every other ruler titles. Now satrap of course is a Persian title, but considering we are descending from the line of the Indo-Greeks, the Greco-Bactrians and the Greco-Persians, I think it is pretty reasonable that we would use that title. As you can see, we have expanded our realm quite a bit into the Ganges plains since Alexandros has taken the throne, and he is now performing a sacred ritual. He will take stewardship of the sacred river. With control over all of the lands along the Ganges flow, I have some authority over which rulers are allowed to access to the sacred waters and its rituals. It is time to have the pujaris formalize this authority as the protector of holiness itself. With that, we will gain the nickname of the Lord of the Ganges. We will gain 1 level of devotion, and we will also gain the effect Stewardship of the Sacred River, which gives us insane piety boosts. Call the Brahmins to the river. the sacred waters. For an entire day, from sunrise to sundown, I stand waist high in the flowing river. Cupping it in my hands, I raise the water towards the sky before letting it fall, over and over again. I am shaking by the time I return to dry land, where I am greeted by subordinate pujaris. I have sworn my protection to not only the water that has flowed through my hands today, but to the entire river, and through it the eternity of existence. None can doubt my dedication to Surya. And Alexandros II is now known as the Lord of the Ganges. For him, however, that was only a political move, a way to raise legitimacy among the Hindus, as he soon reverted his capital back to his grandfather's capital on the Indus and granted the stewardship of the sacred river to his brothers, while he renamed the old capital of Alexandria to Alexandria Basileia, basically meaning the royal Alexandria, to make it clear once and for all that this shall be the royal city. Oh, and by the way, we've been working on integrating the kingdom of Kabulistan up here into our empire, which will take only 29 more years with our chancellor. We were able to vassalize some more rulers up in the Himalaya region and are now focusing our attention to the south. We will go on, declare war on the Paramara kingdom and continue after that with some of those other independent kingdoms. In the west, it seems like we've established a hard border now with the Arabian Empire and the Seljuks, and I think that actually looks pretty good. Militant Hellenes. With that, we now have access to great purifications, so great holy wars, which as the head of faith we can wield as another kingdom CB. Our armies are pushing forward to victory, and I noticed we also gained another CB that we can make use of, and that is a subjugation CB, which we can use once in a lifetime. I'm not sure where we are going to use that. Maybe up in the northeast, where there's still a kingdom missing to control all of that Indian area. We'll see. Would you look at that? We have cleaned up our borders in the north and the east. We've conquered all missing territories, and with that are now controlling 2 out of 3 empires in India completely. Our next goal is to become Chakravarti and unite all of India. We can now consecrate our bloodline by showing sufficient devotion and gathering the favor of the clergy. I can ensure that my dynasty is forever enshrined as a holy bloodline under divine protection. That of course already is a core teaching of our faith. But by now, at 975, first documented records have been found that the people are slowly, truly believing in that. So we will go on and perform the final rites. A sacred lineage. Thanks to my pure devotion and relentless work, I have bound the holiest of offices of the Hellenism faith to the Nicolaonid dynasty. An increasing number of people in the clergy and amongst the faithful has come to think of my family as the chosen caretakers of the holy relics and harbingers of divine will. With that, we gained the savior trait, and all our descendants will gain the consecrated blood trait. Alexandros II died at 82 years of age. It was about time, and the throne passes to his son Pericles, who already is 55 years old, and he of course adopts the regnal name Alexandros and will be known as Alexandros III. His father has made substantial progress towards uniting India in the last 10 to 15 years of his lifetime. As you can see, we are only missing 2 bits really, over all 3 provinces to unite all of India and become Chakravarti. For our faith, Hellenism is spreading and is present in most of our territories, and the Yavana culture is spreading from the Indus to the Ganges. We have successfully united all of India, and we have renamed all newly conquered parts to Hellenistic names. We will now need the religious icon piety level to actually become Chakravarti and unite India. I'm also planning on some wars against the Arabian Empire to claim the Persian heartlands and restore former Alexandrian lands. We do have multiple CBs that we can use against them. We have great holy wars, invade kingdoms, and great purifications, and I think we will make good use of them. I think the time has come for us to go in on the Abbasids. We will take the Kingdom of Persia with a holy war for Kingdom CB. As we are now fundamentalist rulers, we will gain all those lands by ourselves. They do have more troops, but our troop quality seems to be better, and we also can hire a holy order that we have founded. They are currently fighting the Byzantine Empire, so I hope to backstab them. They finally sent some troops to fight us, but they completely split up and don't stand a chance to our glorious troops. With their armies defeated by us, we can now force the Arabian Empire to abandon all their territories in the Sultanate of Persia and claim those territories for the Yavana. We will go on and grant those Persian territories to our nephew of the House of the Nicodorids. They will become our chosen representatives in Persia. We have finally reached the religious icon piety level, and with that can become Chakravarti. With the necessary rituals and ceremonies, I will formalize my divine status as the rightful ruler of the entire world. We will consolidate the empires of India, and the Empire of India becomes our new primary title. I think that is still an old localization because India now is a hegemony and not an empire anymore, but we'll see that in a second, I guess, and we will gain the trait Chakravarti. Alexandros Pericles has united this center of the world and is its rightful ruler in its entirety. Our faith gains divine destiny, rightful rulers of the world, which will reduce the holy war piety cost by 50%. We are those who will usher in an era of peace and prosperity for all people, and our fervor will increase by 50. Attend the rituals. A new era. Crowds chant my name as I am purified in the waters of the heavenly springs. I rise as the Chakravarti, rightful and benevolent ruler of the entire world. My Brahmins tell me that it is time for the world to be guided by my light, but I do not need their assurances. As I gaze across the plains, I can feel it in my soul. The world speaks my name. Here we are, Chakravarti Alexandros Pericles, the divine and rightful ruler of the entire world. And I've also added a new COA for our new title. The base for that was found on Reddit and is linked down in the description. In the center we have the Nicolaid sun, and in the four quarters we have the Agad sun. All in all, pretty cool design, a great job of the creator. We are leading the faithful fighters of Helios into a great purification for Jazeera against the Hamdanids. That of course also draws in the Arabian Empire and the Armenians, as they too hold parts of the Jazeera Kingdom. So we will have to fight quite a lot of people now. Before we declared this war, we already secured Baghdad and the Kingdom of Mesopotamia. Well, that was a lucky one. Before their troops could even gather, we captured the Sultan of the Hamdanids, and with that have instantly reached 100% war score, which allows us to annex all those territories. Victorious great purification Skanda is with us. As we are the temporal head of faith, we actually gained the title of the kingdom ourselves, and only dukes and county tier rulers have been landed. So we automatically drifted the whole kingdom into our realm. With those conquests done, we are able to create the Persian Empire. Imitating Alexander the Great, our Chakravarti has himself crowned in Baghdad as Persian King of Kings, or how he will be remembered, Basileus Basileon, the first Hellenic King of Kings since the fall of the Seleucid dynasty. The northern Persian lords within the Arabian Empire have declared independence, so that we can now pick them up bit by bit. While we are still uniting the northern parts of Persia, our Chakravarti, the Basileus Basileon, has died at 79 years of age. His throne passes to Chakravarti Alexander II. For now, he will continue the northern Persian wars, but later on push for the Mediterranean. We are currently enforcing our demands against the Abbasids for the Kingdom of Syria. The war was really easy now. We backstabbed them again while they were fighting the Byzantine Empire. And we've also waged war against the Armenians and the Georgians, forcing them to acknowledge our overlordship as the King of Kings and pay tribute to us. They even converted to Hellenism now. Down in the south, the Arabian Empire completely split and nearly vanished from the map. So we will move on and claim Egyptian territories. I think it took us around 15 years to completely unite Egypt. We have created the kingdom title for ourselves and are currently controlling Alexandria and its duchy directly. We can take the decision strengthen bloodline because we have a trait from every congenital trait group, and I've waited with that until now because we are now reopening the old temples of Egypt and are letting ourselves be crowned as the first pharaoh of a new dynasty, the bloodfather of all pharaohs to come. We have also established our neighbors the Burmese and the Abyssinians as our tributaries, and what is now left to do is to humble the Byzantine Empire and make them acknowledge us as the Greek hegemon. The old emperor died, so let's go in and bring the Byzantine Empire under tribute. Well, not that much of a spectacular war that I hoped for. We simply sieged their provinces down and haven't seen their armies once, but it is what it is. We are enforcing our demands and are now effectively the overlords of our old and ancestral homelands. We have conquered and united many lands from Egypt to India and are the acknowledged overlords of even larger parts of land. Our religion, Hellenism, is spreading from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean, and our culture, the Yavana culture, is the beating heart of our realm. Our dynasty now has 40 headed branches overall. I've renamed every single one of them and given them custom COAs, starting with our original 3 houses over our grand satraps of Persia to our newest house, the Nikarids, who we have made the satraps of Egypt. That COA, by the way, is also from Reddit and is linked down in the description. For our dynasty legacies, we have completed legitimacy, heroic bloodline, we are 3 perks into blood, and have recently started with the warfare dynasty track. Having a look at our family tree, we can see that the royal line is secured, and we of course also can see our lineage of ancestors. What do you think? Which one of our rulers and forefathers was the one with the most impact for our story? Let me know down in the comments. As Alexander the Great once famously remarked, in future, whenever you communicate with me, send to me as King of Asia. Do not write me as an equal, but state your demands to the master of all your possessions. That is where we are gonna leave it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please consider commenting, liking and subscribing. There are more stories to be told, and I hope to see you in the next one.